So during the course of this series, I've been covering compressors, and then I would even cover like the red compressor, or more recently with the flangers, I would also cover the vintage flanger, and so on and so forth. So I also want to give the same respect to the mono mono effects and the stereo individual parallel effects. So in this video, we'll go over the EQ and exciter since I've covered those effects by themselves, and this is going to end up being more of a review since we've, again, gone over these. So this is a mono effect and a mono effect. That is, anything that goes through it is summed to mono and then output into the left and right channels. You cannot change the order that this effect runs in. That is, the EQ will always be before the exciter, and that doesn't matter because both of the effects have a completely linear response. So if I were to change the ordering, if I were to put the EQ after the exciter, it makes zero difference to the sound at all. So they don't even give you the option to reorder it, since it would be a nonsensical thing to be able to do. So let's review the exciter. I have some noise here, and blend is controlling the kind of excitation that you're getting, and then emphasis frequency is moving that that emphasis down the frequency spectrum. So if we look at it at 100% positive, then we move it up, this parameter up, we see the emphasis move down. So we get this high-end peaks and troughs, which gives a bit more of a high-end definition since you're gaining and losing information at the same time. Let's see what it looks like on 0. You know what? You're actually not losing information. I was mistaken about that. It looks like the troughs are the same level, and then it's really just boosting some peaks. And then in the negative direction, there are like 3 important numbers. There's -25, which will give you some pretty big cancellations. And then you have -50, double that, to give you some peaks and troughs. And then if you go down further, you increase some of those peaks to give you some giant ones. So -25, 50, and 100. Just remember it as like a doubling each time. Those are the important numbers to remember when it comes to the negative blend, but otherwise positive is all the same. So let's use what we understand to mess with a drum loop. I'll go to my basic drum tab. I'll use preset loop 4. I'll give it, I'll go -12 because I'm going to end up using one of those standard kits from the general MIDI drums. And I'll use, let's go with, yeah, let's go with a more acoustic sounding kit. I guess we'll go with a jazz kit. Let's try that out. And let's hear what it sounds like. Now I'm going to route to the insert effect 1. And let's give it a listen. Pretty interesting drum. Okay, so I have my emphasis frequency at full. Let's give it full blend. Wow. That already sounds pretty good. See if I want it in a different frequency spectrum spot. I kind of like the way it sounds at like the very top. And then I don't have to give it so much blend. So 20 and 13, I like the sound of that, but let's also check out what it sounds like with negative, because that high pitch sound is pretty overwhelming. So now we're really drastically changing the timbre of these drums. Let's try -50. like the way that sounds. Let's keep hunting around. Negative 100, of course. I think I might like that the best. That's more around my 50 to 100. Yeah, I think I like that. Now let's use the EQ to fashion, let's see, the kick is around, yeah, around 80. So this ends up being perfect. And I want the open hat to be louder. That'll end up being this one around here. And they're very high end. Go all the way up. You know what would have been nice for this effect is having a gain compensation. Also, the dry wet, I think, should end up working. We'll be able to kind of take away the overall blend of what we're doing, the overall filter. Let's check what we're working with here. Getting a lot of the beater from the kick. I like that drum head there. Alright, let's see if dry wet will actually blend between the two. Interesting, it will. So you can hear how much we bring out like the shaker with all the way wet. And then dry. It's all like high pitch. I think I like it at 60/40. So here's without the effect. And then with it. Sounds pretty good. All right, that's it. Take care.